Every so often, the Sports Hangover touches on mature topics. Discretion is advised.
We are the Sports Hangover, and you have found us in Scandal City. We're going to whip around all the scandals going on in the sports world right now. Michael, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's get into it.
First one involves fried chicken. Golfers like fried chicken.
They
Well,
do.
at least Sergio Garcia says Tiger Woods does. You don't know who Sergio is? I know you know who Tiger is, Mike. Sergio's been running his mouth about Tiger since the Players' Championship a few weeks ago. Well, he went over to England this week, and he was asked by Golf Channel Steve Sands if he would have Tiger Woods around for dinner one night during the upcoming U.S. Open, which Sergio will be back in the United States for. Garcia responded saying, "We'll have him over every night. We will serve fried chicken." That got Twitter abuzz. It got the whole golf world abuzz. Sergio has since issued an apology. The question is, what should happen to Sergio here?
I don't think anything should happen. I don't think, because isn't he kind of European or something? He's not American, is he?
He's Spanish.
He's Spanish. All right. So he's from another culture. And to me, I don't think it's racist. Like, everybody loves fried chicken. I love fried chicken. KFC has some great chicken. Popeye's chicken has some great chicken.
Mike, black people are known for several foods, and fried chicken is one of them.
Okay, obviously, I know that. I know it's like watermelons and fried chicken and all that stuff. I'm not racist, but I don't think this should really matter. Like, maybe he just can't. Maybe they were eating chicken at the time. And Jeremy, I know you have a little inside information on the guy who interviewed him from the Golf Channel, which is crazy because I don't know how you get access to the Golf Channel.
Yeah, I'm tight with Golf Channel Steve Sands, and he's the one who asked the question. You know, there's no video of Sergio saying these things. It was at a private dinner, and it wasn't in front of cameras. It wasn't in the spotlight, and people need to remember that. And Steve Sands just was doing a Q&A in front of some very rich people talking to Sergio, and that's when he asked the question. And he feels really bad. He feels like he perpetuated this whole thing. He feels like the story was over between Tiger and Sergio, and he made it continue. So he's definitely remorseful and feeling bad about it. But I don't blame Steve at all. That's his job to ask questions like this. They're entertaining a crowd of rich people who paid to go to a dinner. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. I will say I don't think anything's wrong with what Sergio said either. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Are there racial overtones there? Absolutely. You can't tell me there's not.
Yeah, there's a little bit. But in the end, this is making golf more exciting. Like, we would never be talking about this. And I know you like golf a little bit more than I do.
Yeah.
We would never be talking about this because now there's like some kind of scandal going on inside golf, and this is what we like. We love when football players get arrested, and we like talking about it.
It's easy for us to like it. It's not good for the sport. It's not good for the sports world to have things like this, issues like this of race. You think we're past this in 2013, Mike.
I know, but look, a gay guy just came out, and it was like fucking next coming of like Jesus or something. Like, it was all over the news. So this is still something that's in the news, and somebody saw it and blew it up, and that's where we are today.
And it's free speech. It's not illegal to say something like this. He didn't say anything negative about black people at all or African Americans, and people need to remember that. I don't think Sergio was being racist. You know, I saw Michael Wilbon on PTI yesterday say he was deeply offended by it.
Oh, come on.
And I don't know why he's deeply offended. I don't understand that. I think sometimes people take things a little too far. You know, Mike, I am Jewish, and you pretend to be a Jew some of the time.
Yeah.
And if someone made a joke about me winning a golf tournament and making a joke about matzo ball soup, I feel like I would laugh it off as opposed to be deeply offended by it.
Well, it's different. Like, we're not black. We don't know what it's like to be black. And if only we had a really good black friend to come on the show and talk about it, but I don't think we do. Actually, Carlos is half black, who used to be on the show. I'm going to get him back on.
This is going down a dark road, Mike. I don't know.
Am I getting
Okay, let's move on to the
All right, we'll talk about Chris Paul.
And the LA Clippers. You know, Chris Paul, he is the star of the Clippers. He's what makes the Clippers go. And the Clippers had a very disappointing season and a playoff run here. Knocked out. They're not in the conversation anymore. Either are the Lakers.
They had a great season. That's the problem. And they had a great last season. They made it to the playoffs both years in a row. And now they
but it's
fired
not
their
good
coach.
enough I'll stop you right there. It's not good enough to just make the playoffs anymore. You need, if you're the Clippers and you have Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and other pieces around you, you need to win playoff games. You need to advance further.
That's true.
The Memphis Grizzlies have no business being where they are. The Clippers should be there.
No, and I agree, but their coach was fired. The most winning coach, I think, of all time in Clippers history. Last 2 years, made it to the playoffs. And they had a streak this year that was a 17-game winning streak. And that's pretty big. And especially for the Clippers, I mean, they're not the greatest team, but
It's no heat streak, but it's pretty impressive.
okay, yeah, it's no heat streak. But to me, this is like another coming of the Dwight Howard, which we're not even talking about today because that's just drama that's going to go on for a while. But Chris Paul supposedly wanted a new coach.
And that's why Vinny Del Negro was fired by the Clippers, and apparently that's where the scandal comes in. It's a big scandal with the Clippers. They're not scandalous, but hey, Chris Paul is being scandalous because basically he told the Clippers he wanted a new coach to play for. And you're saying that they had a successful regular season. They won 17 games straight. You think the coach should still be around?
Yeah, I mean, this is a quote from some CBS Sports guy. He said, Paul said it was not fun. He was not a fan of Del Negro. And that's it right there. I mean, if you're not a fan of him, you want him to go. You want somebody else in that maybe gives you more control of the team. Because I think Chris Paul came in when he was still coaching, so he's like getting used to him. And I feel like Blake Griffin had no say in this because he was a young guy starting on the team. He's just kind of, I mean, he's not young anymore, but he's not as a veteran, I guess, as Chris Paul, like coming from another team and he wants to take control of it. Chris Paul's a smart guy, and I don't think he said this in any harmful way.
But it just goes back to the main problem in the NBA ahead of any other sport is that players are ruling the roost.
Yeah.
Players are deciding the rules. Players are deciding the fates of coaches and GMs and their own teammates. And the Heat started it, and it's going down a bad path here. I don't like it, Mike. I don't like these players being so entitled that they feel like they can make decisions that in the past only owners and general managers and coaches have been able to make. I will say, so they don't want Vinny Del Negro. I get it. Get rid of him. Who else is out there? We had this conversation a few weeks ago with Phil Jackson. You said the Nets should go after an up-and-coming young coach. Yeah. Who?
Jeremy,
tell me who that is.
I cannot tell you who to go find.
Who is the young, sexy head coach out there? Because I don't see any.
I don't think there's any young ones, but there's old, established gentlemen that might be able to coach. Maybe on a college team. Maybe a college coach could come over, but I feel like the college gigs are so sweet that like you can barely ever get fired from those. You can even rape little boys, it seems like, and coach. Well, not basketball. Well, that's what Paterno did. He covered it up.
Paterno didn't rape anyone.
I know Paterno didn't, but I'm just saying it in the college world, when you're there, it seems like as long as you can win enough games and not even win a title, maybe here and there win a title, you can be a coach for 50-plus years if you really wanted to. And it's different when you go to the big leagues. They want championships, and if you're not getting it for them, they'll cut you. That's why I think a lot of people don't want to be coaches because it's a hard gig.
And it is less work, I think, coaching in college than the pros. For one, all the players are going to listen to you because you have 30, 40 years on them in college. And another thing, you're a mentor for them, and you don't have to put the same hours in. To be a head coach at a pro sport like NBA or NFL, you have to put in the longest days of anyone in this country. You never see your family, just a brutal schedule, and you don't get a lot of thanks if you're not winning games.
And, well, moving on, but just like any sport, it's always hard to make a team. And I know that you're not a fan of wrestling. I'm not really a big fan either. But lately, a lot of stories have been coming up. WWE's pumping content out left and right. Like, they are now on Hulu. The WWE Raws are on there. They're streaming live on Xbox. And right now, the WWE just put out a statement the other day, said the legendary wrestler announcer, Jim Ross, who now works for the WWE Talent Development Program, he's planning to meet with the NFLPA and trying to then pull players that didn't make the team, and says there's a career waits for them in the squared circle. So they are now pulling people that aren't making the teams and taking those athletes and making them into wrestlers. And I think anybody can do it because I know if you know who The Miz is, the guy from Real World. You don't know. Yeah. Well, so he basically was a Real World star and then got pushed over to wrestling. So I think wrestling is they're trying to make this into a business, and I think it's smart taking these guys that are athletes.
I just don't think it's going to work, Mike. I mean, these NFL players get so badly bruised and beaten up in the course of their career. We see running backs retiring at 31, 32 years old. We see Brian Urlacher retiring because his body can't hold it.
Let me stop you right there. Brian Urlacher, he could go in there and like a half-torn ACL and still wrestle somebody. I don't think...
But why would he? He's made millions and millions in his career. His body's been through it all. But why would these guys
because the guys that don't make the NFL are like, what do I do now? And, I mean, this could be one option, but I'm also saying you could do this. You could maybe play in the USFL. There is a spring league sometime coming soon.
These NFL players, Mike, they're so intense. They're so big and strong. You think they want to go act out on a wrestling stage? You know, wrestling is fake. I have to announce that to the world right now.
Come on, Jeremy. You ruined it for me.
I know. I hope there's no 8-year-olds watching that expect it to be real.
It's not the point of like, I want to be in the NFL and I don't want to go act and be in this male drama TV show or whatever it is, soap opera. It's the point is you can get a job. And if you're big enough, say you were not a star, but a good enough player in college, and now it's like, well, what do I do? Maybe I could go to Orlando and be an entertainer there and do some other kind of career, maybe develop other kind of players. I mean, this is something, it's an option. Because right now, there's only 53 guys on a roster, and this is hard for a lot of people to get onto a team. And this is way off topic, but the NFL is also doing some big stuff. The Xbox One, which is a weird name, was just announced the other day. The new Xbox is coming out sometime this year, maybe Christmas time. NFL has announced a deal with the Xbox that they will now stream content. They didn't say what kind. They were very obscure about everything. But they're going to be streaming content, original content, to Xbox. And I don't know if they're going to be doing the games, but somehow they want to interact with the NFL Fantasy League. And it's very interactive. It seems kind of cool, but you will basically be able to watch Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football on Xbox somehow, someday soon.
It sounds great. They're trying to reach a younger generation, at least the NFL is, and all the sports leagues, and this is how you do it with newer technology. My beef with the new Xbox, Mike, is all my current Xbox games aren't going to be able to be played on it.
Does it really matter? Because I think every year you buy a new Madden. Maybe I buy a new NHL, and I buy a new...
But I don't want to buy it every year. I shouldn't have to buy it every year. I shouldn't have to get rid of all my games just because they don't play anymore on my Xbox. That's what Apple did with the new iPhone 5, how I need a new charger and everything.
It's old bullshit. Why would you want your old computer to work with your new programs? You want this thing
because they're my games. They're my Xbox games. I should be able to play on an Xbox. Why are you coming out with an Xbox One that doesn't play new games?
This is not how it works. It's like when the Nintendo 64, remember that thing? And then they came out with the Wii?
Yeah.
You could still kind of use the
Well, that's an evolution in gameplay. Are you telling me the Xbox One is going to be an evolution in gameplay from the current Xbox?
I think it's an evolution of where the gaming is going. This is now not only a gaming system, it's an entertainment system, and there'll be enough room on the hard drive to download those old games. And I'm sure they'll be at a discount rate, but if you want to play your old games, play on your old Xbox. I don't care.
I will, and I won't buy the new Xbox, and I won't stream it because I have my iPad and everything else I can watch games with and do thickness.
Right.
You are being scandalous, sir.
If we don't get molested or arrested or abused, we'll be back sometime soon.